Hi Booktube, Aaron here. Hope you're doing very well. Today I'm going to be doing a tag for Tag Tuesday. It's the Positivity Bookish tag, or the Positivity, Stay Positive, Stay Present Bookish tag. It's by Gareth from Books, Songs and Other Magic, and he very kindly tagged me and a load of other people in it when he created the tag. So I'll have his video down below. And as a tribute to Gareth, I've got my cup of tea, and so I have to have a little sip. And it's a tag all about positivity. He was inspired by MJ from reading this life, and yeah, just got 6 questions about positivity. Some of it's about books, some of it's about life in general. So we'll jump right in. The first prompt is: name a book that has made you happy. So this could be a reading experience, or the book release itself making you happy. And for me, I think when I think of a book that makes me happy, in a way that stands out from other books, I often think of Far from the Madding Crowd by Thomas Hardy. And sort of going into the wording of the prompt, I think it was particularly the reading experience, and also looking back to the time I was reading the book for the first time, that that's really what's making me happy when I think about the book. I'm certainly not old enough to remember the book release for this, but yeah, it was. I mean, it's a lovely book. I love the characters, and something I've done in the past is just open the first page and suddenly just remembering the sort of personalities of the people in this book, and finding them just as affable and intriguing and annoying and real as I found them the first time round. But yeah, it's also the way the landscape is evoked in the book, and then how I was kind of relating that to the landscape around me as I was reading it. I was reading it out on walks and picnics and things, and so I read a great deal of this book out of doors, which seems very appropriate. There's lots of farmland and cliffside walks and little country lanes and things in this book, so it all kind of melds together in a really lovely way. So this is a book that often makes me happy, and I read it in a very, very happy period of my life. Number 2 is: name an author that you find completely reliable, is always a safe bet. And with this one, I mention her from time to time, and so I thought I'd just give her a spotlight again, and that's the poet Alice Oswald, probably my favourite contemporary poet, and I've got 6 of her books that I've read. So I think chronologically they are The Thing in the Gapstone Style. I think this is from the late 90s. Yeah, this is 1996. Then Dart from the early 2000s, from like 2002. Then Woods, etc., which came out not long after Darts, I don't think, about 2006 maybe. 2005, Woods, etc. This was the first collection by her that I read, and I didn't quite get her. I then went straight back to Dart, and it was Dart that really got me excited about the way she writes, and got me more and more intrigued by her. But I found Alice Oswald through this collection just because I saw a picture of the book on Instagram. I think someone somewhere was talking about it, and found the title just really odd and intriguing. Woods, etc. A kind of playful, kind of anti-romantic approach to nature poetry, I suppose. And then probably the three best books are the next three. There's Memorial, which is an excavation of the Iliad, just really, really wonderful. And then Falling Awake, her first non-Faber and Faber book, I think. At least the first of them I have. This is 2016. I think this is 2006 or 2007. Oh no, this is 2011. So there must have been, I think there is something between these two. Anyway, I'm rambling on about when her books were published. And then the most recent one that I've read, Nobody, which is similar to what she's doing in Memorial, where Memorial is the Iliad. This is using the Odyssey as a kind of source text and inspiration, and really love this as well. So I don't know, what do I love about her? What makes it so reliable? I think it's very much the way that her poetry seems very stripped down and honest, and so it doesn't seem like anesthetized or like clean cut in a very modern sort of polished way, but it's got this kind of rock hewn grittiness to it, I suppose, in the way it's been in the way it's been sort of pared down. It's kind of like the poetry has been eroded into this shape that seems right and very natural. See if I can find a good example of kind of how it sounds. And she can be quite experimental. So this is a poem, and if you can see this, what's the name of this poem? Essentially, we have a line and then 5 dots, so it's sort of counting out seconds in sort of how long the gaps between the lines should be. It's really an interesting poem. I think it's called Tithonus, 46 minutes in the life of dawn, and so it's counting out 46 minutes. And I'm trying to see if there's one that I could share with you that would give you a rough idea of what it's like. There's Dunt, a poem for a dried up river. Very small and damaged and quite dry, a Roman water nymph made of bone tries to summon a river out of limestone. Very eroded, faded, her left arm missing and both legs from the knee down, a Roman water nymph made of bone tries to summon a river out of limestone. Exhausted, utterly worn down, a Roman water nymph made of bone, being the last known speaker of her language, tries to summon a river out of limestone. Little distant sound of dry grass. Try again. A Roman water nymph made of bone, very endangered now. In a largely unintelligible monotone, she tries to summon a river out of limestone. And it goes on, trying and trying again with each repetition. So yeah, and you can sort of hear there's a rhyme in there, but it is not, and there's always a kind of, well, not always, but there's often a kind of formal element to the poetry, but not in a very forced way. Again, it's sort of pared down, and the form is kind of eroded a little bit in a way that I quite enjoy. So that's my safe bets, reliable author. So far, I haven't read anything by her that I particularly dislike. There's always something there to enjoy, and the experience of reading her poetry is always a treat. Number 3 is name an experience that you've had recently that you'll never forget. And I could go into some sort of big things, but there was just something last week I was on holiday with my family, and the week itself was lovely. But there was just this one moment. It had been raining quite a lot. It would go on to rain quite a lot. But there was this one evening where we were in this tiny little village by the sea, looking out at these cottages next to the sea, and just seeing rabbits running around amongst the weeds. And it was just a perfect evening. It was cool. We could finally see the sky through the clouds, and it was just so beautiful surroundings um, in Somerset. And it was just lovely, and um, probably one of my most contented moments in a long while. So it's not anything out of this world per se, but it was something that um, at least at the moment feels like it was just important just because it was the way it was. Uh, Number four, a booktuber shout out. So I'm just going to mention a booktuber that always makes you happy. And I was just thinking before I was putting my answers together about this booktuber. I just watched one of her videos. So I'll shout out Debs from Raina Read Stuff. And one of the things that always makes me happy in her videos is the way she sort of introduces herself at the beginning and her sort of the first words that she says. Because she always says, "Hello, lovely booktubers," and she's not just talking to other people who make videos. She's also talking to anyone watching. If you're watching, you're a booktuber as well. And there's that lovely sort of inclusivity there with that I just really appreciate and love. So I'll shout out Debs for her videos and the enjoyment I get out of them. Number five is what are you looking forward to the most? So when Gareth made his, he sort of moved it more in a sort of booktube sort of related sort of thing, and so I'm going to keep it in that sphere and think about something I want to try and do in the future that I'm excited about with the channel. And I want to spend some time with Borges again, a short story writer that I really love, and I want to try and work out which are my favourite stories. So I'll try and reread many of the contenders and work out maybe a list of 10 of my favourite Borges stories. I've mentioned it recently, but I thought I'd try and say it again to sort of push me to do it. And when I think about doing it, I do get excited about doing it. But I want to put at least some effort in. And yeah, certainly reread the contenders at least once again before making the video. And then number six, the last sort of proper prompt is, what are you most proud of at the moment? And again, I think Gareth, when he did it, he was trying to sort of focus it on this year, I think, on the whole, not just generally in your life. And so I was thinking of sort of myself at the moment, and there's a lot going on and a lot to be proud of and happy about. The big thing this year has been my daughter being born and watching her grow up, and that's certainly something I'm very proud of every day. And there's also been, I don't know, it might be connected in some way, a kind of general boost in creative energy, and not always had enough time to make the most of it, but sometimes that's helpful because you can direct it in concentrated bursts where you need it. But in terms of thinking of things to read and for when I'm making videos, but also for writing, there's been just an interesting burst in my writing this year, I think, not just in doing it more often, which I certainly have, but in sort of rediscovering some of the things that I really enjoy about it and the directions I want to take my writing in. I've been songwriting again. That was sort of my main sort of mode of creativity when I was younger, and I haven't done it as much over the last few years. I've been quite slow with it, but I've been writing some songs this year. Been trying out new recipes and cooking new things, and there's just this general, I don't know, this general kind of aura of positivity and creativity around things at the moment that I'm really enjoying, and I'm proud that I'm being somewhat productive without overthinking any ideas of productivity. I'm just sort of doing stuff, which is the way I like to do it. So that's what I'm proud of at the moment. And then the last thing to do is to tag some people. I've been really bad at tagging people recently. So there's a chance that many of the people I tag may have already been tagged in this. But I will tag John from Must Read More. I'll tag Emily Carice Pessoa. I will tag Summer from Sterling Reads. And I will tag James from Quaint and Curious Volumes. And I will leave it there. So, yeah, thank you very much for watching, and I'll see you soon. Bye bye.